We'll see as the last ban stage is here. Army Geniuses, Motivate.Trust. A bit of a hard ban stage now for AG, as you still don't know what this Monkey King is doing. They have kind of kept it a bit of a secret. But I think AG will just automatically assume that it is going to be the Q Monkey King, because that's what we've been seeing over and over again for Motivate. And they do tend to enjoy last picking the Jackie hero. AG, obviously lacking what appears to be an off-lane. Motivate, they may feel like it could be anything. It could still be a mid-hero that they are also lacking, because you don't know what's going to happen with the Quap. Should be an off-lane, though. I mean, the only off-lane Quap we really see these days, I think, is from Mizu, from GXR, and he regularly plays it. Apart from that, I don't see many other players running off-lane Quap, so I do assume that AG will run the mid Quap, and they are going to look for something else here for Wami, who I really can't remember playing off-lane Quap whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not something we've seen Wami pull off, at least in recent memory. So I think he's been much comfier in, stuff like the Timber Saw. It's still his key hero. I don't know if you can really slot that in, especially with the magic damage you have on Motivate.Trust already. They've got decent control with the Shadow Demon Monkey and Lesh combination disruption to set up all those stuns. Still fairly good. So I don't know if we're really going to see that. The Legion Commander ban out from Motivate.Trust is pretty smart. Taking away one way of just removing the lasso. So you don't have to worry about that instant dispel on hand for your big piece of control on Motivate.Trust side. And they even take out the Nyx. So they're kind of trying to switch around. They might be expecting Wami Pango for the last pick support here, which still works. That is much more in line with how Wami plays. He loves to play aggressive. Pangolier can be that frontliner very early on and sort of try to harass out Jackie. We have seen Pangolier still have that impact on the offlane as well, since it's still a really strong hero in most core matchups. So we will have to see. I think Motivate.Trust do still hold on to that flex till the end. For Army Geniuses, they're going to have to pick first. So they're going to show their hand with their Pangolier, whether or not it is our Wami hero or it's going to be a support.
Okay. Army Geniuses final pickup. 1 minute 15 left in reserve time. I wonder what they do give to Wami. Oh, okay, they're going to go down the Venomancer route. We literally saw this last series from SMG, and it seems like they've had a bit of an impact here on the draft of Army Geniuses, as offlane Veno does pop out, and it is a very, very annoying hero to play against. I mean, even if it's not directly countering anyone on the side of Motivate.Trust, it's just an infuriating hero to have to deal with. We'll see what Motivate want to pick up. I mean, Monkey King safe lane does feel kind of rough now if you were intending on running that against the offlane Veno. It's just not very fun. What else can you pick up though for Jackie? I mean, you haven't got the Life Stealer. You haven't got the Deucer either. I mean, I hate to say it, but they could go for something like an Arc Warden, John, which is a favorite of Jackie's. I just really would prefer not to see it if we can avoid it altogether and just go something else.
They could Arc Warden, would slot in. Maybe something like a Luna could work, although I do worry about the lane matchup anyway. Luna's fairly short range for a range hero, so that's something the Venomancer could still abuse. It's not like depends really on your lane build-up, but you might have to invest in the glaives just to bounce onto those wards early on if you do go, say, the Luna route. I mean, you have the Shadow Demon, you can build up stacks for the Bat Rider and the Luna or some other big farming core, so you can still play that way. Just kind of sack the lane, focus on building up stacks, recover in the jungle, and just go from there. I think you might have to consider that, considering Jackie's playstyle being kind of that comeback sort of hero. They go with the Terrorblade instead of the Luna, so they do have a solid win condition on hand. My issue is the lane for Jackie doesn't feel amazing. When Metamorphosis is down, that's a big window for Wami to really play aggressive on the Venomancer with a backup from the Pango or the Bane, well, likely the Pango in the offlane. So they can actually start chipping away at the TB. It's high in armor, not high in HP. So sustaining through the damage from Wami is not going to be easy as the levels build up.
No, I certainly agree with that. I think Jackie's going to have a pretty rough time during this laning stage. He is going to have the support of Set 0, so you do have a lot of damage that Set 0 can pump out with the Shadow Poison. And I think maybe if you can dominate the level 1, level 2 timings here in that safe lane of Motivate, maybe the Wami Veno won't feel quite as impactful if you can get a bit of a level advantage going for yourselves. We'll see. I think this lane for Motivate's definitely going to be on set 0 to try and win on that Shadow Demon. And if he can't do so, well then yeah, it's going to be a pretty rough time, and Wami and LYM should have a great time kind of just harassing Jackie non-stop. Still, John, I'll ask you the hard question before we do get into game number 1 of this best of 2. Who do you think has the better draft?
It's rather even. I think Motivate.Trust has faster push potential for sure with the Lush Rack and the laning pressure Batrider can apply. Army Geniuses sort of has that with a Venomancer. The one thing that I worry about is Masaros and the Batrider. I think the lasso potential is really strong here because you don't have the best saves. So in terms of getting max utility from the Batrider, it should be relatively easy for Masaros to get the control he needs. I think in timing-wise, it might be slightly better for AG with the Veno if they play aggressively in the off lane, but it's rather even. Maybe I'll just lean towards AG just a tad bit in the hero picks.
Well, we'll head into it. Game number 1 between these two. Set to get underway. AG, Motivate.Trust.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah, this one does pan out. Wami, of course, already started the chatter with Motivate.Trust. The directing, saying set 0 is back. Alpha Red is back. Geez, that's a throwback, isn't it, John? Alpha Red. How long ago was it we were casting them in open qualifiers?
Oh yeah, that was a long time back. It was Alpha Red, and then it became Alpha Hashtag, and there was also a Alpha Hashtag question mark. You know, the really interesting names. I believe we casted Alpha Red a couple of times. I think they had a player named Mikasa there. Man, that's like years ago, like 2017.
Oh, yeah. We were so young and so handsome back then.
Not much more handsome in my end. I can let you have that, but I'm not gonna take that. I'm not that handsome still. Even back then. What else was there? Like they had Alpha Blue because I remember receiving a dossier from their manager, who's still their manager now. I think it's Charlotte XO. She sent me like the dossier for their entire lineup. They had like 2-3 teams at that point. So that the Thai community's always been strong, and for Motivate.Trust, it's good to see them finally popping off for their nationality. It's them and their sister team MY who didn't make it through open qualifiers, which is unfortunate because we would have seen my Pro Dota 10. Still very disappointed we haven't casted a single game of the legend himself.
Love to see it, John. One day we're gonna get to cast my Pro Dota. I mean, we used to. Back in the day, we did have chances, John, but it's just been so long. I miss the guy. I just want to have another opportunity to do him justice. But you never. It could be a while, John. You never know. We'll wait and see. One day it'll happen, I'm sure, and it'll be beautiful when it does. I promise you that.
Yeah. Keen to see. Still. Going back to that point, you love it when Motivate.Trust and AG play against each other. They've got so much history. They've played on different teams together before. That's always nice to see when players are all friends in lobby. But of course, you can't have friends when you're playing Dota. You've got to look for the win. No bounty rune advantage for either side, going 2-2 each. So we'll watch the lane split up. Of course, bot lane, you've got DB on that Sven, aided by UK on the Bane. They are going to be laning up against Q on the Monkey, and Masaros on the Batrider. So Batrider, Monkey King lane, once you get levels up, it can be pretty strong. Up against the Sven, spam sticky napalm, run around with the Firefly. Sven's going to be really easy to kite around there. There's some saving potential on UK, would say a Nightmare play, a Nightmare dodge here and there, but not many openings. So you're going to have to watch your spacing for a while. UK kind of getting cut off from the tree line where he'd like to play with a Brain Tap, but they're doing a good job here for Motivate.Trust in the first few levels. Once level 2 tree is up, that's when the Batrider can really kick off into full gear.
I'd say they should still be relatively safe as long as UK does have the Nightmare up and just can kind of just Nightmare Masaros. Naturally, Q can take the Nightmare off himself and put himself to sleep, but it's to react fast enough, it may not work out for them. We'll have to wait and see. Over in the mid lane, Mamang Daya against Fearless. So the Quap versus Leshrak matchup. We have been seeing a bit of mid Quap as of late. I think the only person that's made it look good so far is Yopaj, and that was yesterday. So it seems like the Shadow Strike, while it is giving you that passive regen now with the damage ticks, not as impactful as people would first imagine. At least not yet. Not that we've seen. And again, Yopaj is really the only one that's made it look very strong. And I'd say it wasn't really due to the Shadow Strike anyway.
Yeah, it's. I think the emphasis on Shadow Strike, it actually only really kicks into overdrive once you hit your level 20 talent. So you have to have the Shadow Strike AoE for the lifesteal aspect of it to really feel good, and that's like way late in the game. So early on, not the highest impact. It can help you win some trades, very rare scenarios. Fearless doing a fine job in just holding this lane, getting the last hits off. Mamangdaya, it's a bit harder for him to walk up and just get the Scream of Pain off, just because Fearless does have control options with the Split Urt. It does have slightly better range to cast that spell as well. So you're going to have to watch the back and forth. Should hold even. Level 6 is when it does get spicy. Push potential from Fearless, kill potential from Mamangdaya gets up. But for now, it's just going to be a steady farming lane. Gives us a chance to look at the side lane up top. Jackie and Set Zero on the Terrorblade Shadow Demon, up against Wami on the Venomancer and LYM on that Pangolier. In this dual lane, we talked about the Terrorblade sort of having a slower start. Not quite slowing down, but Wami's also keeping up in farm. So, the Terrorblade's not really able to zone them out too hard with Metamorphosis and with potentially the illusion spam from Set Zero with Disruption. Set Zero not able to get the Shadow Poison harassment he wanted with his first full mana pool as well, as LYM is still fairly mobile. I mean, he's got the Swashbuckle and makes it hard to land a continuous Shadow Poisons out. And Wami's doing a good job of just staying back, although he is still fairly slow and you will have to watch yourself there.
Oh, nice scale dodge as well from Jackie. Just making sure it does not connect so he can chase down Wami, and they should have enough damage by this point. 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. In fact, it wasn't, but Jackie, he gets to have the first blood. Bonus gold going the way of the Terrorblade. And that's what I was looking for here from Motivate. Get that initial lane dominance going your way. That's exactly what they'll do. Zwami and LYM, I dare say they haven't had the impact you'd hope for in the Veno Pango lane. And at this stage, I don't know if it's ever coming.
I think it still can come out. It's just down to playing around the Metamorphosis usage of Jackie. When it's up, you can't trade. The Venomancer's not that tanky. The Pangolier can be with a good shield crash, but that's easier said than done. So you just have to pull back when you see Metamorphosis or when it's around ready to go up. And when it's down, that's when you start applying the harassment. Try to land a Gale, try to land the Swashbuckle. It's a bit difficult without Lucky Shot. I think you need a Lucky Shot up just to make it a bit simpler to land your spells out and kind of, start to get the damage up. And that's going to take a few more levels for LYM. So they're doing a good job of just zoning out that spike here from AG. And you talked about Motivate.Trust having good laning starts. I actually feel a bit more worried when Motivate.Trust gets good lanes, because that's what we saw from them last time. They had a really good start and then it just drops off. They seem to be much more used to losing lanes and playing catch up. So we'll see if that changes in this game, but it's off to a good start so far.
That's very true, John. I did forget about that with Motivate. Bottom lane, Masaros getting chased down here on the Bat Rider. UK though dropping much faster and eventually will go down. They haven't been able to pick up the Sven yet, but they do at least get themselves a Bane kill. And I have to keep checking into this mid lane, but hold that though, because bot lane, they are making another dive in. But they are out of Firefly now, so DB's going to turn around and harass back Q. But this mid lane has been very aggressive on towards Mamangdaya. Fearless 26 and 10 right now in terms of CS on the Leshrac. He does TV back to the Fountain to get a bit of a reset going for himself. But look at the damage he's done to this Quap. Only 16 and 6, 10 CS behind right now, and he's constantly been on very low HP on this Queen of Pain.
Yeah, it's maybe down to the fact that Mamangdaya went for that Shadow Strike build, so he didn't go for the Scream of Pain. I think last time we saw Yopaj play it was like a 2-1-2 build, maybe a 1-1-3 build, emphasizing wave clear a bit more rather than the single target harassment. Like, he can trade pretty nicely, but Fearless has magic damage stacked up now. Pulse Nova up, level 6 ready to go. So even if you walk up and try to get Shadow Strike off, he can still nuke you down. That is something you have to be cautious about on the Quap. Fearless finds a haste rune. Looks like he's going to set up for the bot lane now with a rotation.
It'd be a nice easy kill with that haste up. The Masaros, he can get started with the sticky napalm. And I think they'll happily go for a dive in as, yeah, there you go. Flame Break and Firefly popped. DB knows what's coming. Fearless, he'll show up now. UK, he will Nightmare him and buy some time, but DB's already gone. And LYM, well, he's just going to be fuel to the fire here for Fearless. So that'll be another kill to go the way of Motivate. And UK, somehow actually jukes them out. TPs are coming in, so they're really going to try and defend even further. Mamang Daya does commit the Sonic Wave, but it's nowhere near enough damage. So Fearless TP's out. Masteros, he's going to do the exact same as now. A boundless strikeout on 2 and Q will make sure they can do nothing. Just perfect play out from Motivate.Trust down at the bot lane. And Army Geniuses, they get absolutely 0 for their trouble.
Yeah, they don't manage to find a punishment. Really timely rotation out from Fearless. I was surprised that AG didn't manage to retreat in time. They have this forward ward in the ramp exactly the way Fearless ran into them. And they were just already shoved into the tower. So I guess there was really nowhere else to run. Nice movement out from Motivate.Trust to force them in that spot beforehand to ensure that they were really just trapped up. DB still has to be cautious here.
I'm around on Masteros. To make it so he can't chase down with Q, but they won't mind. I mean, they've already pretty much dominated every lane. And I realize that makes you a little bit afraid for Motivate, John, but they are well and truly ahead in this game, number 1. A 1k net worth lead their way, but you look at Jackie, already top of the net worth board on that TB. And that's not something you see too often on a Terrabladers. Well, now Fearless ends up finding LYM on the Pango. They'll find another kill.
Yeah, it's just piling up. 5 kills now for Motivate.Trust. They're getting punishment off. It's a way slower start for AG. It feels like they're going to need level spikes now. They do have level 6 on Wami, but he did opt to just go into the Plague Ward build. So, you know, just looking for the laning harassment, looking for the push potential with the summons. Down bot, though, UK.
Very rough time. UK cannot do anything to defend himself once that Nightmare is down. And we are seeing it. Like, Masteros, he gets Nightmare. Q just hits him, takes the Nightmare off, puts himself to sleep, and Masteros, he can easily just chase them down and secure the kill. They've already just kind of left the bot lane. They've abandoned it. They know there's no use trying to defend. And Fearless, he's going to move his way in now with the level 3 Diabolic Edict. And there is truly no defending this bottom tier 1 any longer.
I think where AG is really suffering is in the support level difference. Like right now, you know, set 0 is 5 on Motivate.Trust side. Q is level 5 as well. They're inching towards 6. Our pause 4 Pango, LYM, still stuck at level 3. Our Bane is 5, so at least you're going to have a grip up earlier, but no Rolling Thunder anytime soon for LYM. Holds off some aggressive potential away from AG. And with that bot tier 1, it just enables Motivate.Trust to keep that invasion up. They do have the triangle secured for DB to keep farming up, and they're starting to clump up top.
Gale's off the mark again. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Set 0, he could just TP out because you haven't got a stun at that top lane at the moment. Yeah, just a worrying sign when you keep missing the Gale. That is kind of your initiation tool here for the Venomancer, but again, they have not been working out. I think for Motivate, they'll slowly start to shift their way into the mid-tier 1 very soon. They are just taking the time to soak up some more farm, but they understand how great of a start they've got going for themselves, and I suppose they don't want to allow DB to catch up on the Sven. And look at this, Firefly out, Flame Break not really going to be the perfect one, but it may not matter as they have the Lightning Storm. The LYM going to try and buy a bit of time. They'll settle for the Pango instead. Sonic Wave though, going to push 3 heroes back. Is it going to matter? Not quite. LYM still guaranteed to die. Mamang Daya, he shows him his face, but you really can't do much. I mean, Sonic Wave is nice and all, but there's really no kill potential there at that top side.
Yeah, they just don't have the follow-up. They need the supports to be ready to use their spells. I think they're also going to want the value point in that Poison Nova down the line to have that constant DOT ticking away. They have done some good damage on the top tier 1. Wami has managed to drop it down to 100 HP, so you should be able to clean that up. They are still clumping mid though, but there's no Sonic Wave and Mamang Daya, so you can't really make a play. LYM still waiting for 6. They pop a smoke. I don't know if LYM just got his immediately broken, but doesn't look like it's figured out. Let's see if they can actually commit on Jackie.
It's a massive pickup if they can get it, and they are going to be able to break the gap as Jackie's gone in for the range creep, and there you go. Fiend's Grip will hold him down. He has Sunder up, and I don't know if they've got enough damage for him. UK, he'll get the Brain Sap. That'll barely be enough to make sure Jackie dies, as Mamang Daya immediately starts walking back after the Fiend's Grip, knowing the Sunder would be coming. And in the meantime, looks like Wami does end up dropping at the top lane. Q able to pick up that kill on the Monkey King. But definitely a much more worthwhile kill there for Army Geniuses, finding that position 1 terribly.
Yeah, they find their first kill of the game as well. That's their first actual pick-off, and it's the one that really matters. So they get some good punishment out, while also still constantly buying out space for DB to build up. He's got the Mask of Madness up on his Sven. He's got some room in the bot jungle to build up farm, and he's gonna hit his Echo Saber timing. So with Echo Saber, with Mom up, that's when the Sven can feel a little bit comfier in the front lines. If they do want to join in fights, Jackie, not dissuaded after his death down bot, just pops a Metamorphosis, works on that tier 1 mid.
I mean, why the hell not? It's just so easy right now with the advantage Motivate has, and I think Army Geniuses know very well that they cannot fight into them at the moment, not as a team. They've got to buy a lot more time to get these heroes online. They do continue to work towards that top tier 1. They will be able to get it now with the Plague Wards out from Wami. A very slow process, but it does get done. I think with such a bad start for Army Geniuses, you are going to be so reliant on DB being able to pull this game through for the side of AG. He's going to need a lot more farm for it, though. He's nowhere near at the farm he needs to really get involved with his team. Maybe within the next 5 minutes, though, he might have enough.
Yeah, I think after the Echo Saber, a BKB has to come out. And once you reach a BKB timing in the Sven, that's when you can join in these fights. There's no control outside of Lasso to pierce through the BKB. So you're going to have to just be aware of where Masaros is at. Beyond that, the Sven should be able to leverage his damage from the forward position and start to do some work for the team. AG are playing as 4. You know, they're grouped up top. They're just pressuring the top lane, constantly forcing at least one here to stay around. But he's a highly mobile support, so he doesn't mind. He gets some free space for himself. He gets to keep saving up for that Mage Slayer we see Q constantly go for on the Monkey. And that's going to take away a lot of damage from the Venomancer, from the Pango, from the Quap, from the Bane. If he gets his hits off in the right spot, the damage output of AG without the Sven starts to really dip down. Have to be careful down bot, though.
Yep, Beans rip out again. Nice setup, but TPs are incoming. And do they have enough damage? No, the disruption set 0. Oh, he protects Fearless. He saves his life. Now Wami's going to drop. You might get Masaros, and they will. But what a great disruption out from Set 0. And LYM, he's going to try and get himself out. Boundless strikes on the mark. Q. They have enough? Not quite. Set 0, he's gone too far. He will die. Q. Thinking about the Wukongs, is eventually going to throw it out. UK now has also gone too far. It should drop, but Brain Zap is there. Primal Spring in Q. Now they'll have enough this time around, but Jackie now might be chased down. In fact, they'll go after the Monkey, but LYM taking a fair bit of damage, and DB does not want to deal with the meta Jackie at the moment. It's LYM basically one hit away. Meanwhile, Fearless trying to go on to Mamang Daya. Masaros doesn't have the blink initiation, so won't be able to close the gap. And in the end, it does end up being a pretty even trade between the two.
Yeah, no one really getting a massive edge there. Good turnaround for Motivate.Trust with that save coming through. It's the one thing you have to watch out for is the Bane. If you don't see the Shadow Demon, you do have a good way of breaking off that control. And once you lose out in the Fiend's Grip, that's a lot of your control gone. It's pretty much Fiend's Grip, Nightmare, and Stormhammer on the Sven that are your stable sources of stun. Rolling Thunder can play a part, but it's not very reliable. So you have to kind of hold back on when UK does use them. You have to have the information to use it beforehand.
Oh, Nightmare out. Masaros going to be taken off, but it's already too late, it seems, as he tries to run away with the pig out, but they have the damage with Mamang Daya's Shadow Strike. Find another kill on that Batrider. Masaros, I mean, he does generally decide to not go for the blink, but it is costing him right now, as you do at least need the BKB to be able to really abuse the movement speed of the Batrider, especially at this stage of the game. In the meantime, Motivate, they still hold the net worth lead by 2k. Jackie is well and truly pulling ahead on this Terrorblade, but AG still well and truly also in this game.
They've got a lot of room to grow on DB. The BKB timing we were talking about, inching closer here for the Sven. Still 2 parts away, so some time off, but it doesn't take too long for his Sven to build up that farm. Masaros on the hunt.
Nice Lasso out. They've got the Bane, UK. Let's get caught. The Spidey senses of Masaros were tingling, and he was right. you've lost your Bane. No Fiend's Grip up for another 20 seconds. Wami and LYM, they're going to be around, continuously just pushing out this top lane. Q, though, going to jump in the tree line. They did see him doing so, but it won't matter, because Wami, he's been caught out by the Boundless. He'll go for the Poison Nova, and it might be enough to at least get Q down, but Masura should still be able to secure the Venom. In fact, Set Zero, he does disrupt again. Q is somehow still alive, and now LYM, he's going to be the second to drop. And Q, I think they can just deny him off pretty comfortably here. Or he might even survive, and he does. He will make it, just barely.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for AG. They lost their support up top. They still chose to play there, not respecting the vision game the Monkey King was giving out, and not respecting how tanky he is in Wukong. Even if it's just a level 1 Wukong's 12 bonus armor is nothing to scoff at. Still, Fearless is pretty far forward.
Yep, nice Fiend's Grip out. Mamang Daya there with the follow-up damage. Set Zero trying to get into the disruption. Was unable to do so. So this time, Mamang Daya able to finally kill off Fearless on that Lesh. It's a 5-13 now. 3k net worth lead for Motivate. AG still very focused on just buying DB time. He is on the way now to picking up that BKB. And again, once you have that BKB up, it'll be about the time where he can start joining his team and going for these big team fights. Unfortunately, though, for DB, at the same time he's going to get the BKB, I believe Jackie is going to have his Eye of Skadi up. And the Eye of Skadi, it doesn't care about your BKB. It still slows you quite heavily.
Yeah, and it's also that big spike for the Terrorblade to just stand in front, take these fights, good stats in hero, with that item flying through. You know what else would be highly impactful, Mike? Nothing like a Skadi. What would really be impactful would be a Fey Grenade for Masura.
Oh, there it is!
Go. Oh, there it is! Yes!
Right on target. Thank you for that, John.
Oh my goodness, here we go. This is when it gets really dumb.
LYM about to experience it. It'll only be 1 stack, so the damage is not going to be that high. But look at it.
It's still pretty high.
Yeah?
For an auto attack, that's like dumb. And
Oh,
vision.
it is.
Wow, it does so much. How is this a tier 2 item?
Think about it this way, John. If he got 2 stacks of sticky napalm, he might have actually killed LYM. Just quite hilarious to think about. Just with 2 stacks, he may have actually gotten the kill, or would have been very close to getting it. Oh, what do you do? I mean, it's just impossible to balance Batrider. It really is. You can't balance this hero.
Yep. It's just, it's either completely busted or very, very weak. It's never in the middle. Still, we'll see how much Monsters can get out of it down the line. Motivate.Trust are clumped up bot, but AG's here as well with a smoke.
But they are, but Q's got all the vision in the world for his team. It's always the very challenging thing about going against the position 4 Monkey King is the fact that he's always going to be scouting you out. It's very hard to catch him out, as now Jackie pops the meta. You've got Fiend's Grip on UK, but it's not going to be easy while Set Zero's behind. They're going to try and make the jump in. Poison Nova's there, but nice Wukong's command and the Boundless strike to hold them down. Wami already dropping so down low. Fearless, he almost dies to DB. Sonic Wave will be committed to Masaros. He might go down, but he'll try to run. Meanwhile, Jackie, he gets a Sunder off, and now DB, he will be the target, and he will drop as Mamang Daya. He blinks very aggressively, and it looks like he may pay for it, as he does try to blink towards the right, but they are going to have a look around, and they are going to find him. Set Zero, he'll get the disruption off, and Jackie should be able to get to work, but no, another blink away. And Mamang Daya does get the life of Set Zero in the end, and does escape with his life intact. And it does pan out being a 2-for-3 trade in the favor of Army Geniuses.
Yeah, they did have to drop their Sven. I think overall, Motivate.Trust aren't going to be too worried about that. 2 supports and a core for the big core, and an offlaner as well. So it does feel a little bit better for Motivate.Trust despite losing the numbers trade. And that Skadi we talked about for Terrorblade is up. So Jackie's got Skadi. He's got a bottled up DD rune. He's got everything he could possibly ask for. Just needs to wait for the Metamorphosis to go off cooldown, and they could look to play again. We didn't quite see Masaros use his Fey Grenade in that fight, so they lost out on a little bit of DPS. And he was in the front line. He needs his BKB done. And he's almost there. 300 gold off. Going to be going for the Ag Shard as well, so even more napalm charges flying through. So the Flame Break plus Fey Grenade combination, I think that'll literally just kill people.
Oh, yeah.
That will just kill off any support. You're not going to live through it.
Well, the beauty of the Flame Break shards, John, is it applies a sticky napalm charge on connection. So if you can get both of them out, you're adding +2. Plus the initial one you already have up. So yeah, I dare say you are correct. They are probably just going to die from that one combination. At least the supports will. But I'm pretty confident that everyone else will probably also suffer quite heavily from this combo. As Army Geniuses now, they may have to experience it very soon because Motivate are still pressuring that bot lane. But Jackie doesn't have the meta for another 10, so he will have to be a little bit more patient. In the end, Motivate, they are going to back off and just go back into the jungle. In fact, never mind, they're going to smoke up. This BKB is now available on Masaros. They want to go for a big surprise reveal with that BKB immediately. In fact, they might even just rush the Roshan. Jackie found a double damage room.
Yeah, it was in his bottle earlier. It does expire with the next rune spawning up. You've got Illusion as well. So it's a really simple process to go into the Roshan here. AG, they don't really have wards in this area, so not quite aware. They do have a sense of it though. They've got their own smoke.
Easy Roshan though. Wami, he's still gonna rush in. Rotomatos is there, but look at the damage. Oh, maybe not on the same page there on Army Geniuses, because Wami just gives his life away for free. And now Motivate.Trust, they get a boundless strike onto Mamangdaya, and here it comes, John. Lasso is there. He is just getting burnt alive. He will blink away and survive as a Sonic Wave does get thrown out, but they still have the damage. LYM, Rolling Thunder or not, is unable to help as now UK is forced to Fiend's Grip Masaros, but Setsuro has the disruption. DB, he's within the Wukong's command. He will at least get the Bat Rider and might just be able to TP in time. And does. But it's still a positive team fight for Motivate.Trust as they move into that tier 2 mid. I don't think they'll commit, but they are still easily winning this game number 1 here against AG.
They've managed to win out the fight. They even drop a salve and let Jackie sunder a set 0. So they're ready to go again. No metamorphosis, but they still got good damage.
Yeah, Nightmare to try and evade some of it, but it's nowhere near enough. Jackie just able to surround. I suppose now they could think about going for that mid tier 2, but it does appear they are lacking a creep wave, so instead Jackie, he'll move up toward the top tier 1. Yeah, an easier tower to just try and secure. They'll even find Wami's courier on the way. And I'll tell you what, John, this offlane Veno, it really has not worked out whatsoever for AG. Just, it feels like the impact just isn't there. In fact, towards the south, they've got the Bat Rider stunned up, but can they get the kill? Because Masaros, he does have the BKB up. He'll just chase UK down. Mamangdaya is going to blink away. And LYM, he is trapped on the cliffside, but nobody's really noticed him. So LYM will be able to escape. But Army Geniuses, they do continue to struggle in this game number 1.
Yeah, I think going back to that point of the Venomancer in this case, Mike, I don't think it's the hero. I think it's the lane they had. And like Veno plus Pango just doesn't have the same effect. I think the key thing to the success to the Veno we saw last time was that it had an alchemist. Like Acid Spray just amplified all the physical damage output there. Unstable Concoction is a really busted spell when you leveled up with the Acid Spray. So it just had more nuke potential compared to Pango. Pango is sort of strong with damage. It mainly really relies on just a shield crash durability to get off harassment, and in that case he was just cut off. Motivate.Trust played it perfectly with her spacing on Jackie and just using timing and metamorphosis to zone them out completely, and because of that they couldn't snowball on the Venom. The Venomancer still has the same issues. If it doesn't snowball, it falls flat.
On the brighter side, DB does secure a kill onto Q at the bot lane, but it looks like he's not interested in trying to defend this mid-tier 2 tower. And I can't quite blame them. And Jackie doesn't even need to pop the meta for that. He could try to force the higher ground, but you are lacking your Monkey King, so they are just going to go back and hit some creeps and defend for a bit. No real rush. They've got plenty of time to try and go for that high ground attempt with that Aegis up. And I mean, Jackie knows he's so far ahead of DB right now. DB, he's trying his best to get enough farm up to put up a contest against this TB. And the damage is certainly there. It just seems like there's so many things he has to worry about. Like, you've got Disruption, you've got the Leshrac spells, you've got the Lasso. And on top of all that, there's a Metamorphosis TB that's just going to whack away at you as OIM just gets shredded. Wami, don't run that way, sir. It is not safe, as Fearless is just going to run him down. Mage Slayer or not, it is not going to help Wami survive. UK, he will be the third to go down. Set0 gets the tip over. I'm not sure for what, as now Sonic Wave is there. Q, he will get pushed away, but they have no kill potential. They have no way of killing anyone. Set0 dies, but that's the poison damage of Wami.
Yeah, it's not the biggest kill. They're still diving forward, but Monster is just immediately out. They've got the Ag Shard up on the Bat Rider, so the silliness for the fake grenade can begin. And Jackie, with the Age is still up for about 40 seconds, does start on the high ground with a Leshrac on hand as well. With the Edict, doesn't take long to melt these objectives, and AG, they're running out of options for the teamfight. You do have the Rolling Thunder, but L1's really gonna have to look for the angle with that blink to really hold off. It doesn't look like they can. It's just too much damage.
That it is. Sunder's there. Midrax is slowly but surely dropping as they'll keep up the good work here. Jackie is going to be slowed up. That'll force the BKB usage, but he's already got the melee barracks that he wanted. So he'll be more than happy. And look at the timing. Aegis expires right on exit. So everything just being timed to perfection here from Motivate.Trust. And Army Geniuses, I mean, what do you do here, John? They're going to go for a 5-man smoke and try to make something out of this. AG. They find... Oh, Q's there to break the smoke. I don't think they find anything. It's so hard to smoke into support Monkey King. He just... If you're against a good support Monkey King like Q, he's never going to allow you to get a good smoke off.
Yeah, just cuts off all the paths, stays in the tree line, and just makes it impossible. AG, they're gonna have to look for a different angle. They're gonna have to just try and keep playing this farm game, although...
Jump in. Nightmare is there on the Leshrac. Q does land the Boundless Strike. That's gonna be about it, though. They aren't gonna pursue too far. Again, without having the Metamorphosis and the BKB up on Jackie, you are just gonna want to wait a little bit. But lines are being drawn out. Meta's up in 40. So they're going to start working their way down to the bot lane and slowly start pressuring away. Try to force a team fight and or Motivate. They've been very good with timing so far in this game one. I'm sure they'll be able to keep it up just fine as Jackie will move in. They'll abuse the SD illusions while they wait out that meta. Meanwhile, Q in the tree line already, getting so much vision for his team. How do you fight against this? I mean, they can see everything on the side of Motivate. UK gonna be there, but does back off. Tier 3 tower already gone. Meta is now available. There you go. Jackie just moves in. Wami. Again, I'm not sure what the idea is. He commits the Poison Nova. Sonic Wave is there. This is not looking great at all for Army Geniuses. It looks like they're just out of options. Jackie will back off after the BKB usage. Melee Barracks still going. They'll try, but they've got the Bane now. Knockback from Masaros. Jackie gets the kill. Mamungtaya, he's trying to chip away at Jackie, but he's really just taking no damage. Mamungtaya, I mean, they've got to force a fight now, but Sunder's there. God's Strength is out, but the immediate lasso is available from Masaros, and Mamungtaya, he's going to melt. This game's over. There is no coming back, and the GG is called. Army Geniuses have seen enough. There's a really rough performance from him this game one around. Motivate.Trust just looking very, very clean.
Get the draft they want. They managed to pick up this Monkey King support that Motivate.Trust has been really building up on in the past few days now. And they just make it work. AG, they went into that Venom last pick. They didn't have the strongest lane combination with the Pangolier. They couldn't leverage the Pangolier's tankiness. And because they couldn't shut Jackie down, you had that strange circumstance where Motivate.Trust was actually winning out in the laning phase. All their matchups went up really well. I think AG needs to go back to the drawing board, go back to maybe stronger comfort picks for them. And, with heroes and lane combinations they can play fast with, and just do that. I think when you give Motivate.Trust an early start, sure, it's a bit strange. And the last time we saw it, it did lose, but This time around, they just execute cleanly. They hit these really good spikes. They give the comfort heroes to Jackie and Masaros, and that was it. There was just way too much that Motivate.Trust were very comfy with playing with in this game.
I agree. 100% agree with that. We'll see if Army Geniuses can make game 2 work in their favor and force a draw here against Motivate.Trust. It's MLP John.xfire, and we'll be back after a short 10-minute break for game number 2.